From zero to trader, my journey did not begin with ambition, but with curiosity, mixed with a quiet dissatisfaction that I could not yet name. I did not wake up one day deciding to become a trader. I stumbled into the idea while searching for something that promised independence, control, and a way of thinking that rewarded responsibility rather than permission. At the time, I knew nothing about markets. Charts looked like noise, terminology felt alien, and the gap between professionals and myself felt impossibly wide. What drew me in was not the mechanics of trading, but the idea that results were directly tied to decisions, and that no one else could be blamed when those decisions failed. In the beginning, I did what most people do when starting from zero. I consumed everything. Videos, books, forums, social media threads filled my evenings. Every source seemed confident. Every method sounded convincing. I believed that if I just learned enough, clarity would arrive on its own. This phase felt productive, but in hindsight, it was mostly accumulation without understanding. I was learning vocabulary, not judgment. I copied indicators, mimicked setups, and followed opinions without realizing that none of it meant anything without context. Still, this phase was necessary. It gave me exposure and just enough confidence to take the first step that truly matters in trading, which is placing real risk on the line. My first trades were small, cautious, and emotionally loud. Each tick felt amplified. Every win felt like confirmation, every loss like a warning. I quickly learned that paper trading and real trading live in different psychological worlds. The moment money was involved, logic bent under pressure. I exited too early, entered too late, and watched price move without me more often than I participated. Yet I kept going, convinced that discomfort meant progress. What I didn't yet understand was that the market was not testing my intelligence, it was exposing my habits. The early losses hurt more than I expected, not because of their size, but because they challenged my self-image. I had assumed effort would be enough. Study would be enough. Discipline, I believed, was something you decided to have, not something you trained. This illusion shattered quickly. I broke rules I had written myself. I rationalized bad trades. I chased moves out of frustration. Each mistake taught the same lesson in different forms. Knowing what to do and being able to do it under pressure are not the same skill. At this stage, trading became less exciting and more confronting. I realized I was not competing with the market, but with my own reactions to it. Fear showed up as hesitation. Greed appeared as impatience. Ego hid behind the need to be right. Books I had skimmed before, especially those on trading psychology, began to feel uncomfortably accurate. They described behaviors I recognized in myself, and for the first time, I understood that trading success would require internal change before external results. Starting from zero also meant starting without structure. I had no clear plan, no defined risk, no criteria for success beyond profit and loss. This lack of structure created constant stress. Every decision felt heavy because nothing constrained it. Over time, pain forced simplicity. I reduced the number of markets I watched. I focused on one or two setups instead of many. I defined how much I was willing to lose before entering a trade. These changes were not elegant, but they were stabilizing. For the first time, trading felt slightly less chaotic and slightly more intentional. The biggest shift in my early journey came when I stopped asking how to make money and started asking how to stop hurting myself. This question changed everything. It redirected my attention from prediction to protection, from opportunity to behavior. Losses became information instead of insults. I began journaling not to justify trades, but to expose patterns in my thinking. Slowly, very slowly, awareness replaced urgency. I was still far from consistent, but I was no longer lost. Looking back, the transition from zero to trader was not marked by a single decision, but by a series of small, humbling realizations. That trading is simple, but not easy. That discipline is trained, not declared. That patience is an active skill. And that progress often feels like slowing down, not speeding up. The journey did not feel heroic or inspiring while it was happening. It felt uncertain, repetitive, and emotionally demanding. Yet beneath that surface, something foundational was forming: a shift in responsibility, a tolerance for discomfort, and a willingness to learn from mistakes without escaping them. And it was precisely at this fragile point, when excitement had faded, but commitment had not yet solidified, that the real journey quietly began and the path forward started to take shape. As I realized that becoming a trader was not about arriving somewhere new, but about gradually becoming someone capable of handling uncertainty day after day without needing constant reassurance or immediate results. And this realization continued to unfold as I moved forward, still unsure, but no longer naive, because once the excitement fades, only intention remains. And intention is what decides whether someone drifts away from trading or begins to take it seriously. This was the phase where I had to choose whether trading would remain an idea I flirted with or become a craft I committed to. There were no external rewards encouraging me forward, no early success to reinforce belief. Progress became internal and mostly invisible. I learned to sit with uncertainty without constantly seeking reassurance from charts, opinions, or outcomes. This ability to stay present without stimulation marked a quiet turning point. During this stage, I began to understand that trading is learned backward. You do not start with confidence and earn humility. You start with humility forced upon you and slowly earn confidence through evidence. I stopped trying to trade every day and started focusing on trading well on the few days when conditions aligned. This felt counterintuitive. At first, almost lazy, yet the results were undeniable. Fewer trades led to clearer thinking. Clearer thinking led to better execution. Better execution reduced emotional swings. The system began to stabilize, not because the market changed, but because my behavior did. Structure became the anchor. I wrote a simple plan and treated it as a boundary rather than a suggestion. I defined when I would trade what I would trade, how much I would risk, and when I would stop. This structure did not make me profitable overnight, but it made me predictable to myself. Predictability reduced stress. Stress reduction preserved focus. For the first time, I could review mistakes without feeling personally attacked by them. Errors became mechanical rather than moral. I also learned to respect time in a new way. Progress did not come from intensity, but from consistency. Some weeks offered nothing. Some months felt stagnant. Yet beneath that surface, habits were forming. I learned how long it actually takes to recognize patterns, to trust risk management, to recover emotionally from losses without changing behavior. These were skills no tutorial had prepared me for, and yet they became the foundation of everything that followed. The most surprising realization was that trading began to teach me about life outside markets. Patience extended into daily decisions. Emotional regulation showed up in conversations. The habit of waiting for clarity replaced the urge to react quickly. Trading did not make me calmer overnight, but it made me more aware of when I was not calm, and that awareness carried weight beyond charts. From zero to trader, the journey was never about becoming exceptional. It was about becoming reliable. Reliable in preparation, reliable in execution, reliable in restraint. The identity shift mattered more than the skill set. I stopped seeing myself as someone trying to win at trading and started seeing myself as someone training to behave consistently under uncertainty. That identity carried me forward when motivation dipped and doubt resurfaced. Looking back now, the beginning was not defined by how little I knew, but by how much I misunderstood about the nature of progress. Trading did not reward enthusiasm, it rewarded endurance. It did not reward intelligence alone, it rewarded honesty. Starting from zero meant having nothing to protect except the willingness to keep showing up and learning from friction rather than escaping it. That willingness, fragile at first, slowly hardened into commitment. And that is how my journey truly started. Not with my first trade, but with my first moment of restraint, the first time I chose not to act, simply because I could. The first time I allowed the market to move without me, and felt no need to chase it. Because in that moment, I understood that becoming a trader was not about constant participation, but about developing the discipline to engage only when it made sense. And that discipline, once planted, continues to grow quietly, as long as it is protected from ego, impatience, and the false urgency that once pulled me toward every flashing opportunity. If this story mirrors the early steps of your own path, consider subscribing to follow more reflections on the unseen stages of trading growth, and leave a comment sharing what first pulled you into trading and what surprised you most once you actually began.